Testing, testing, 1, 2, 1, 2, testing. You good? Okay.
now live. Thank you very much. Agenda item 1 is apologies. I've received apologies from Nicola Wilson, the Head of Economic Development, Councillor Ashley Mullen, and also Councillor Keith Hawkin. Is there any further apologies from the floor? Thank you, Councillor McElrath. Okay, we'll move on to agenda item 2, and that's declarations of interest, and we'll take them as we progress through the meeting. Okay, so that takes us to agenda item 3. That's the Head of Economic Development report. Nicola Wilson is absent, so in her absence, Caroline is going to take this forward. So Caroline, I'm going to hand over to you for the decisions items. And 3.1 is invest in ABC investment portal. So Caroline.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, members. Item 3.1 is a decision item relating to invest in ABC investment portal. It reflects some work that has been going on in combination with our economic development colleagues and colleagues in tourism and arts and heritage as well, to create a portal that is more welcoming to our business colleagues in the community and gives direction to the various opportunities that exist within the borough. So the decision required tonight, colleagues, is recommended that members agree to extend the capability of the Invest in ABC portal to promote the commercial availability for vacant sites and current investment land availability from local estate agents, landowners and Invest NI. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. I'll bring in Councillor Kyle Savage.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, happy to propose this, so we go ahead with this. I think it's important that we exploit the economic corridors that exist within. I'm thinking in particular of the A1 corridor, and the potential along that road is massive. And I think we have maybe overlooked that in the past as a council. So I think we need to really put all our efforts in. It's all right looking at the brownfield sites and potential areas that we need to be looking at, and we need to get our area plan speeded up, because that's loss of income to this council going forward. So we really do need to be pushing that hard. But the potential is there for extending our business sector, and we need to really push forward with this as much as possible. But happy to propose, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Savage. And Councillor O'Hanlon, I'll bring you in next.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. And look, I'm content with the proposal in principle, but to be just keen to see in terms of cost. There's no details on the report in terms of the cost of it. And as I say, look, the principle of it, I have no issue with, but I'm keen to see if there could be. Normally, whenever we're asked for a decision, there's a financial implication, and it's not noted on the report. Secondly, in terms of opening up for local estate agent, landowners, etc., and Invest NI, have we a protocol as to how people get information into this? That it's not one or two estate agents and not the full breadth. Sorry, Councillor Barry, but I'm trying to do you a favour here, just in case somebody else is getting in on your patch. But no, but in seriousness, that it's not just a select few estate agents. Equally, that not just every landowner can lob a plot of land in, that it's actually properly vetted, zoned, and all that sort of stuff. So I'd be keen to see a bit more detail. In terms of the principle, it is not the issue, but it's just how the mechanisms and the outworking of it. I'd be keen to see some more detail on, please.
Okay, Councillor O'Hanlon, I'll just bring Caroline in on them points.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Hanlon. So in relation to your first point, the portal is being largely developed in-house, and that's why there is no cost indicated in the paper. With regard to your second point regarding a protocol for the implementation of the portal, I don't have the detail of that to hand, but I will certainly take it back and ensure that consideration is given to developing a process.
Thank you, Caroline. Councillor Hanlon.
Yeah, Chair, thank you. I think it's important that that's formally brought back through committee, because, you know, if members get queries from landowners or from estate agents or whatever. And then I'd like to see an annual report brought back to see what estate agents is feeding into it, and the successes of any of it, you know. But I am keen that we get that protocol through the committee, and obviously to try and sell the benefits of investing in the area, both as it was previously said in relation to the Belfast to Dublin economic corridor, but also in terms of the now new approach that Invest in is taken in relation to the Windsor framework and the potential implications and benefits that they could for the economics of this region as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Hanlon. Look, it's been proposed by Councillor Craigavon. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Liam Mackle. That's proposed by Councillor Craigavon, second by Liam Mackle. All agreed? Thank you, members. We're going to move on to agenda item 3.2, and that is the Labour Market Partnership Action Plan 24-25, and Caroline's going to take us through that again.
Thank you, Chair, and members again, good evening. Item 3.2 sets out the Labour Market Partnership Action Plan for 2024-25, the Employability and Skills Strategic Assessment for 24-27, and the additional budget easement for 23-24. It is recommended that members approve the action plan, give delegated authority to the Chief Executive to accept the letter of offer in anticipation when it's received from the Department of Communities, approve our ABC Labour Market Partnership Strategic Assessment 24-27, and accept the addendum to the 23-24 letter of offer for additional easement funding from the Department from Communities. So the report is there in detail, colleagues, and also David Curley is here to answer any detailed questions that may arise. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Caroline. Members have heard the recommendations and the reports are there. Councillor O'Hanlon, I'll bring you in.
Yeah, Chairman, thank you, and thanks for the report. Just in relation to the Labour Market Partnership and the programmes that they are doing, I know recently we had an update in relation going into the pharmacy sector and trying to address some shortages there. I've been approached by people within the motor mechanic industry, in a particular panel beating, and they're trying to having real difficulty in relation to recruiting staff. And if it could be possible that as part of a future stream within the Labour Market Partnership, if we could consider that, please.
Thanks, Councillor O'Hanlon. Look, David's here. I'll ask David to note them comments. Listen, there's no particular answer to give you tonight about specific skill set. So could you take that forward, David? Thanks very much. Okay, so there's no further lights on, members. Need a proposer and a seconder. Proposed by Councillor Mackle, seconded by Councillor O'Hanlon. All agreed, members? Thank you. The next three items, 3.3 Enhanced Flood Support Scheme, 3.4 NI Enterprise Support Service, and 3.5 Food Heartland Agricultural Show Update are all for information items. If anybody wishes to speak to them, could they indicate? Councillor McClelland.
Yes. Yes, Chair, thank you for letting me in. And with your indulgence, I am on both 3.3 and 3.5. In terms of the 3.3, obviously we have the second iteration of the flood scheme and so on. And I think the concern would be that voluntary sector, churches, maybe even farming businesses still fall out with any scheme. And I think, you know, it's an important principle that if there was damage at that particular flood event, there is an entitlement to compensation. So and I know I talked to Caroline earlier on this, and it would be interesting to find out just where we are in terms of the overall budget for this particular compensation event. But I think that we need to keep pressing on behalf of the sectors that I have outlined, because it's all about fairness. So that would be on 3.3. On 3.5, I think it's good to see the interaction between officers and Food NI in terms of offering support to the mostly SMEs that are involved within our heartland at the upcoming shows. And I would just urge that we do all in our power in terms of the comms piece to make sure that the businesses are aware that they can partake of the half-day training or the day training or whatever it is, because in the end, these businesses need all the help that they can get. So it would just be sort of urging that we do as much as possible there. Thanks, Chairman, for your indulgence.
Thanks very much, Councillor McClellan. I know Caroline made a note, sir, so we'll find out about the flood scheme in relation to that and the points we all made about the agricultural events. Next is Councillor Kyle Savage.
Thank you, Chair. Yep, look, similar vein there about the flooding plain, that needs sorted out as soon as possible. Whatever support for that agri end needs done as well, especially young farmers there in Macarolli and Athlone. But look, moving on to the shows, the agri shows, know how important it is to our council area, and it's great to see council promoting and supporting our artisan food sector. And it also gives that opportunity to promote the agri strategy that this council has partaken of. But recently there we had Ben Johnson from Market Hill from the Old Barn Catering, who was awarded the Dara Northern Ireland Chef of the Year. And that's something that we should be very proud of in this area. And even perhaps working in partnership with the like of our young chefs going forward at our agriculture shows. Like we have the demonstration kitchen that's sitting parked at Cairn Industrial Estate in the depot. And can we get it wheeled out into these shows and start to promote local food in a more advanced way? And I think that's very important. We know the figures. We're up to almost 500 million that comes into this council area on the back of the agri. So we do need to be supporting, and the £400 for each of the local shows seems to be very light on that. But I think we should be putting everything, and what has been said already about the comms, we need to be promote as much as we can going forward here within this. But thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Savage. Councillor Hanlon, bring you in next.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. And it's in relation to the agricultural shows as well. And I note that there's 3,500 for taking part in Balmoral and 4,000 for each of the Armagh and Lurgan shows. But 400. What it does, again, it says that there's 6 local food producers for Armagh and Lurgan, and it refers to 8. I'd be keen to see the process we use to select the producers that we are involved in those processes, because if you attend the Balmoral, a lot of the big suppliers locally tend to have stalls in their own right. So then if we have 2 each day over the 4 days in Balmoral, I'd be keen to see how we select those suppliers, and that it's rotating on an annual basis, that it's not just the same suppliers year in, year out, that it gives a broader spectrum of suppliers from across the council area. So if that update could be brought back next month, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor O'Hanlon. Councillor McElrath.
Thank you, Chair. Listen, I'll be very brief. It's just going back to the flood scheme, and first of all to say thank you to the staff for organising a couple of workshops there in Portadown Town Hall. So that's appreciated, and I know Helen was speaking to me just about, and it's just to elaborate on Councillor McLennan's remarks in terms of those that fell outside the scheme, and we had a couple of the sports clubs, namely Portdown Golf Club and Allen United Football Club, both had thousands of pounds worth of damage caused by the flooding, run into huge bills. And it was just to say, Caroline, that again, reiterating the point to see what pressure we can put on to try and get those sports clubs some help. And again, just to align with Councillor McLennan in terms of some of the farmers, particularly down this lower stretch of the band, that had a lot of damage done. One man lost an entire chicken house, which ran to probably 100,000. So those people didn't get out of the scheme, and I think it's important, as my colleague has said, in terms of fairness. And I would just ask that our staff would make those points back up the chain. But thank you for the workshops the other day.
Thank you very much, Councillor McElrath. So Caroline has made a note of the action points arising from that member, so we'll take them forward. The next item is an information item. It's a tourism and hospitality sector support update. It is for noting. Happy days, thank you. Okay, can I seek a proposer and seconder go into confidential business? Councillor McLennan, Alderman Mutra. So members and online viewers, in accordance with Schedule 6 of the Local Government Act, we will now be moving into a confidential session of the council. This means that we'll be turning off the public feed for the meeting. This will be returned when the meeting is restarted. So can you let me know what's Please. Thank you very much. And could I take a proposal second to agree the recommendations made in committee? Alderman Baxter, councillor Flaherty. Okay, members, we're on to agenda item number 6. Members, there was no other AOB presented to me. However, I'm not going to let you go that quickly. Members and officers, it'd be remiss of me not to mention that this is Seamus McCrory's last meeting of the Economic Development and Regeneration Committee before he leaves council. And I wouldn't like to let it pass without saying a few words. I would like to put on record my deepest respect and admiration for Seamus throughout my time as a councillor. From the day I started, Seamus has been a source of assistance and advice. He literally answers the phone any time of the day or night. I've phoned him and sent him emails, and he's get back to you straight away. And his services provided has been exceptional. No problem's been too big or too small. Seamus and the Community Development Department came into their own during the pandemic. They led from the front in providing vital community support during very difficult times. I don't think our response would have been as effective if not for Seamus's commitment and that of his department. They've done amazing work in the field of community development, community relations, and minority inclusion, and they've all benefited from Seamus's work. He'll be a massive loss to this council and difficult to replace, and I wish Seamus and his family all the best for the very future. So there's plenty of lights came on there, members, so I'm going to bring us in. So Alderman Baxter, I'm going to bring you in first.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, look, it's a huge regret, a huge matter of regret, Seamus, that you believe in the council and you leave a huge void. Certainly in your department, you lead from the front in that department. I know it's a very close department who work very well, and I think sometimes the amount of work, and we've even seen tonight that the reports that were brought, even in terms of FAP and in terms of advice service stuff, it's massive. And I think sometimes it's maybe underestimated even by members, but it's a very front facing thing, as I said, and the huge amount of work that goes into it. And Seamus, on behalf of our party, we'll be very, very sorry to see you go. And we mean that, very sincerely. You're very, very meticulous in everything that you do. And I think the chair had said there that you'd answer the phone any time of the day or night. You'd also phone us any time of the day or night as well. But I remember I think it was last Saturday evening, you said, look, I was conscious I didn't want to ring you at 5 o'clock on the Saturday evening. I thought, well, you rang me last Saturday night at 6, so there's not much of a difference there. But no, in all seriousness, you'd be a huge loss to this council. Like I couldn't be more genuine when I say that. You're leaving the department in good stead, and whoever takes over from you, whoever that may be, has very, very big shoes to fill. I have to say that. And it's a matter of some regret that you are leaving, but I do wish you all the best, and I've no doubt that you will, rise to the top again very shortly in whatever path you decide to take next. And I hope it's not the last time that we get to work together and do all those things, because one thing is with Seamus, he's straight with everybody, and you don't say something to Seamus, or Seamus doesn't say something to you that he's not keeping everybody else involved with. You don't get a message from him that nobody else gets. Everybody's kept up to speed, and certainly as group leaders, everybody gets the same information, and there's no cloak and dagger stuff. There's none of that. It's very, very straight. It's very meticulous. It's very planned out. It's and you get every jot and tittle, whether you want every jot and tittle or not. It's all there. And the devil's in the detail, as I said, and there's certainly plenty of detail whenever Seamus was involved. So look, I just want to reiterate what's said and be associated with those comments, and genuinely wish you all the best for the future.
Thank you very much, Alderman Baxter. I'll bring the rest of the members in the order that they indicate they wish to speak. So Councillor O'Hanlon, you're next.
Hey, Chairman, I think Seamus spoke earlier whenever he came in, and typical Seamus style, he was passing on the comments, the acknowledgement, the respect, not to himself, but to the team around him. And he talked about how things happen quietly and a lot of effort behind the scenes. You're probably one of the most competent officers that I have ever met in 19 years in local government. I would say you enjoyed the trust, the admiration, and the support of your staff and the councillors alike. It takes a very special set of skills, competencies, competencies and attributes to be a local government officer. And it's not a skill set that every senior officer has. Someone who knows what communities needs and what elected members want. And for some reason, you always were landed with the difficult or contentious issues. But you took them in your stride. You worked at something with members and you got a resolution. You were always the one, and others have said it before me, who rang out of hours with an update on something or other. And indeed, you were always the one who answered the phone at day or night. You led the response. I think one of the other members referred to the organisation's COVID response, and in particular the community support in which you excelled. And you brought your team around you, and it was a huge success. And when I refer to taking calls or making calls out of hours, in fact, if I was in the car and the children are with me, I would explain, look, you need to be quiet, Daddy's on a call to do with work. And Emma will know the one I'm referring to, will say, Daddy, is that Seamus from council? Because it's a regular occurrence, and even they recognise that it was you who would have been on the phone. You'll be sincerely missed. You're one of the best officers that I have ever worked with. And I hope to see you back here someday in a bigger chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor O'Hanlon. Alderman Barry, I'll bring you in next.
Thank you to Chair. There's one sure thing, we're going to have shorter meetings. But when Seamus started, you thought, right, here we go. Put an hour aside here for another meeting. But in all seriousness, when Seamus had given me a courtesy call at the end of last year, I was totally and utterly gutted, and I told him that on the phone. I couldn't actually believe that I was actually hearing what he was telling me because of him leaving the organisation. And I asked the question, who the heck has poached you? And I just couldn't believe that we were losing such a capable and trusted, and it has been said, trusted officer, as someone who has been through local government over 20 years now. I can honestly say that Seamus McCrory was at the top of that list as a local representative working with a colleague within council. And no disrespect to any of the officers, but nobody's going to replace Seamus McCrory in my view, because of the man that he was. He delivered whatever you asked of him. It might not have been easy. He could have tried his best. But as others have said, he always spoke the truth. He didn't talk around it. He went straight to the point, whether you liked that point or not. And he was a doer. And as councillors, we know who talks and who tries to fab you off. But Seamus wasn't one of those ones. Seamus was one that would have told you as it was. And a man who went right through the heart of this council in all his roles, whether it was at COVID, whether it was at that community development level, whether it was the whole Ukrainian thing, it was always on Seamus's shoulders, and he and his team always delivered. And it wasn't just about Seamus, as it has been said. He always spoke highly of his team and worked closely with his team. And as others have said it, you looked at your phone on your Saturday and you said, what the heck is Seamus phoning me on a Saturday for? And it wasn't because I didn't want to talk to him. It was the fact that I thought, look, he has a life too, because he was giving up his time and commitment, whether it was Saturday morning, afternoon or evening. And it was something that he wanted to get done and across the line before Monday morning, which many, many officers would say that can wait to Monday, or can wait to Tuesday, can wait to Wednesday. But he's a man that's going to be greatly missed. And I honestly thought that you were one of those officers that was even going to go higher. And I hope that one day you will be going higher. And I hope to see you, as someone has said, whatever path you take, I wish you and your family all the very best, but I want to see you going places, because as far as I'm concerned, this is going to be a massive loss to this organisation. And I think in a way it's criminal that we're letting you go. And that's my own personal view. We shouldn't be letting it happen. and why it's happening, and I'm not getting into it, but we shouldn't be letting it happen because officers like you are hard to come by. And you're doing it for the good of us as members, and you're always there to protect us as members. And we always had many's a good debate and many's a good discussion and conversation, and much was delivered by your leadership and by your leadership alone. And we as members know that. And I want to wish you all the best. And I have no doubt you will have a better path. But I have no doubt, and I want to see you going even further. And all the very best, Seamus.
Thank you very much, Alderman Barry. I'll bring in Alderman Burns next.
Thank you, Chair. And yes, I want to be associated with all the good wishes towards Seamus. Certainly I have been in the council now for 28 years, and I've never come across an officer who was as diligent at his job. And as Alderman Barry said there, we might have shorter meetings. We might have longer weekends as well, but because we'll not be getting the phone calls. But I have to say, we really did appreciate the fact that you took time on a Saturday evening, Saturday morning or whatever to give us information that we needed. And it certainly was appreciated. You have a good team there, but every good team needed a good leader, and you were that good leader. And as has been said, it is a massive loss to this council. Someone that I would find will be very hard to replace if we can replace you, Seamus. You led us through the COVID response, which was excellent. And, you know, we got good response from the public for that, but that was down to you and your team for taking us through it. And I certainly want to wish you all the best in your endeavours. And certainly I would love to see you coming back here and going up the chain, because good officers are hard to find. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alderman Burns. Councillor Lowry.
Thank you, Chair. I agree with everything that's been said so far. Seamus is someone who every day came into this building of this borough, made a real positive difference to residents. None of them maybe will have seen the work that him and his team have done over the years, but it has impacted each and every resident in this borough. The words that I think when I think of Seamus are professionalism and passion, because he really does love the whole community development scheme. And at times he's been landed with difficult issues, as members have mentioned, the COVID and Ukraine and all the rest. Some difficult to deliver, yet Seamus is always able to deliver it. Difficult sometimes politically, but Seamus was always able to navigate those issues and keeping members fully briefed. I'll miss the Saturday night conversations as well, Seamus. But when you always knew, even when you asked Seamus a question and said, "Oh, I just need to check on that," you knew you were probably 99% sure he was still aware of the answer. I don't think we'll be able to replace Seamus because he did so much for this borough. One thing you can say about Seamus is that he really is a leader. He really empowers his team. He is leaving the team, the whole community development field, you know, in a very good, strong position because of his leadership over the years. And Seamus, just on behalf of my party group, I just say a massive thank you, because you really did make a positive difference. And I know wherever you go, you will continue to be that positive change in the world. So I'd just like to say thank you and wish yourself and your family all the best. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lowry. And I think it's appropriate we give the last word this evening to Seamus. Seamus, will hand over to you.
Thank you, Chair. It sounds like I owe a few apologies, to be honest. It certainly wasn't my intention. No, honestly, members, I've done the job, and the only thing I want to say is thank you very much for your very kind comments. I hope the half of it is deserved, but in that context, it has been my privilege to complete this role. It has been my privilege to make our best attempt to put the resources that this department has to improve lives, and that has been a gift that I can't say thank you enough to, for my position in the organisation, but for all the support that members have given me. So thank you very much.
No, thank you, members, for your kind words for Seamus. Seamus, and I'm sure every word the member says was heartfelt. You really have been that vital to this organisation. So, members and officers, it just remains for me to wish us all a safe journey home and enjoy the rest of your evening. Good evening.